What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Mustard back with another video, and today we're here to talk about Poppy's Playtime 3, which I will say, until I play the fourth one, I think this was honestly the best game within the series. Now, y'all might have to go look up some other YouTubers because I know I'm not going to get all the information right necessarily, but this game kind of explains a lot that goes on within like the game, within its story. So as you see, the train crashed in Poppy's Playtime 2. And I thought that we were just pretty much gone. Now, Catnap, who's the main antagonist of this game, he pretty much throws you the way to be crushed by a garbage disposal. That's kind of what that looked like. I could be wrong. But anyways, it's more about you escaping and figure out the next part of the story and what's really going on, which is that you remember how I told you guys that there was, they were doing an orphanage. Well, you actually go inside deeper into the, I guess I want to call it a factory or whatever you want to call it. You go deeper into it and you figure out that there was a whole inside built orphanage known as, like, I think it's called like Playco or Play Home or whatever it's called. And it was a really, like, I'll say, from game production, everything, it was a really good idea. Like, I really enjoyed how they did this game. Necessarily, it wasn't as short as the first two, which the second one, like I said, was a lot longer than the first one. But this one was really great because it gave you so much more information on what was going on. So, like I said, Playco, an orphanage, and it was pretty much kids could play, they could learn, they could do all this stuff. So it's pretty much, of course, for the kids who are unwanted outside, in the outside world, inside Playco, they were wanted. But there was so much things going on behind Playco. So, the antagonist being Catnap and the critters, the play critters or whatever, they were like Playco's new toy or whatever for the time being. But it turned out that in the outside world, that the Catnap toy itself, it had like a little spray in it. And apparently it was making kids have very bad nightmares, which was known as the red mist, which you would see in this game. The red mist was actually not supposed to get into the outside world, but it somehow did. So it made kids have vivid nightmares, which it got recalled and all that other stuff. So, they ended up taking that off or whatever. But the red mist was actually for the kids inside. And I say that because in this orphanage, kids were being experimented on. Now, it's an orphanage. Parents can still grab kids and all that other stuff. But I will say, I don't think that everybody was aware of what was actually going on behind closed doors. So when you get into Playco, you're supposed to stop the red mist that is necessarily happening. Now, the red mist is a really big thing within itself because it's like a hallucinogenic, like, I guess, drug in a way, because it turns out that the Playtime critters, they actually were shipped out to people in the outside world and all that other stuff. They're making money off this stuff and stuff like that. And the Catnap one, specifically the Catnap one, had the red mist within it, which made kids have like really terrible nightmares or whatever. So it got called back and all this other stuff. And it got crazy because it started to make people question what was going on in Playco. Now, what made it worse was that Ludwig, the owner, he had his own issues going on because it turns out that he had a death within the family and the body was found, like, I think in his house or next to his house or something like that. So now he was also being questioned. So now there's a whole thing going on that they don't really talk about as much within the game. Well, you kind of have to pay attention. And I'll say that's where it comes in for me, because they give you the Easter eggs and all this other stuff. And there's just a lot of stuff that I clearly missed. But with that being said, you do find out about Catnap trying to stop you because he's the main, antagonist here and all this other stuff. Now, you're getting help from a boy named Ali, and he's helping you through all this. I'm not sure if he is dead or alive, but he's the boy who's helping you throughout the entire game. And you figure out more about Catnap as he goes, which was really weird because when you see in one of the scenes, he's actually praying, which I do find out that Catnap is praying to his god called the Prototype. Now, the Prototype is really interesting. I think it's like 1006 or something like that. I could be wrong now. I don't remember the numbers. But the Prototype is really interesting because the Prototype is like the evil within the whole place. It's why Mommy did what she did. It's why Catnap's doing what she's doing. And whoever the fourth guy is, because I haven't got to the fourth game yet, that's going to be why he's doing what he's doing. But the Prototype is like the main evil. And there's like a whole story behind that too, but I'm pretty sure I just missed the clues on it. But the Prototype is pretty much being studied on and tortured and all this other stuff. So I'm just guessing that they want to get back at the people for it. Now, your main objective, of course, is to stop Catnap. But why going through play code, through like the school and the counselor's office and all that stuff, you do learn about the clues of the game. Like, that just wasn't an orphanage for kids to play, stuff like that. Like I said, they were being watched. Everything was being monitored. Everything was being wrote down for testing and all that stuff because these kids were being tested on. So, like, your main thing was to stop Catnap. But you do learn about the Prototype while you're there, and you do learn more about Catnap, stuff like that. And this kid Ollie is here to help you. You do find out that Poppy, like I said, she's not a villain here. She's here to help you. And the pink one, I think it's Kissy Wissy, or I just call her Kissy or whatever. She's actually not a bad toy. Like, you know, she was an experimental toy on too, but like, I guess like the evil effects just never really overtaken her. So she was a good toy. But pretty much what was really cool about this game was they do make you load into areas, by the way, which I thought was kind of stupid, but it's kind of better. You do get the grab pack too with the purple hand, which made you jump, and that was really cool. And then they gave you the flare gun too. So they gave you 2 more Prototype hands to actually use, which I thought was very interesting for the game because they gave you more to work with than just like 2 to 3 hands, and I really haven't seen that red hand in so long, so that was also really cool. But like I said, your main objective was to stop Catnap, and eventually you do stop Catnap and all this other stuff. But what I really liked about this game was before you leave, Poppy actually shows you what is known as the Hour of Joy, and it's pretty much the hour where the toys came to life and they started just destroying everybody, you know, for YouTube's purposes here. But yeah, you learn about everything and why everything happened pretty much the day. It was like August 8th. I think it was like 95 or something like that. And yeah, it really gets crazy and all that other stuff. So I think that was really nice. Now, the game does leave also on another cliffhanger because when we were going further down into the Kissy was supposed to let us down, and you could hear her screaming. So someone obviously attacked her, which leads into Poppy's Playtime 4. Now, like I said, this game, I actually feel like was very well put together. It wasn't, you know, short or anything like that. So if I had to give my final verdict for this game, I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. It was really well done this time. I actually don't mind how they did this game. This game was nice. It felt better than the first 2. I do like the more engaging that they got with the story. I do like that they gave us 2 hands. There were some parts that actually irritated the ever-living shit out of me because I just couldn't pass it. It felt like a game. So I really enjoyed it as much as I didn't think that I was going to enjoy this game's story. Chapter 3 really pulled me in, and I really cared more about the story more than the first 2. So, like I said, now I'm just going to leave it up to Chapter 4 to see how they're going to, I guess, somewhat finish the story. But until next time, y'all, peace out.